All right, we're live. This is Nourish, Heal, and Thrive. I am interviewing Jacob Patrick, and I'm really excited to introduce everybody to Jacob Patrick because Jacob is a really good friend of mine. We've actually worked together for a really long time. I think we met on Speed Racer, right? We
I
worked on the
believe
movie
so.
Speed Racer a really long time ago, which was so much fun, and we became good friends. And we worked on a lot of different projects together after that, and just collaborated on different things. And he's always supported the things that I do, and he was a part of this group from the beginning. And I really wanted to spotlight him here today just as like a thank you for all of his support and being such a good friend. And so let me just start with saying, Jacob, thanks for being here tonight.
Um, Pleasure and honor. Thank you for having me and
And
saying all those nice things.
why don't you share with the group, just say who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
All right. Jacob Patrick. Currently, I'm working for Disney Imagineering, helping to create the ride motion for some of their attractions. Before that, I worked in the entertainment industry on movies, TV show, games, etc., 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 for about 2 decades. You said where I'm from, mostly grew up in Southern California.
Awesome. So, people don't really know about the Imagineering stuff. So
Yeah.
maybe you can talk a little bit more about that and explain, get a little more detail of exactly what you do.
There's not much to say. It's all just pixie dust. Just smart people, hard work, and pixie dust. That's it. Nothing behind the curtain. Do not look behind the curtain. Um, there's only so much we can say. There's only so much, and I don't even know where that line is. And also, a lot of times you don't want to spoil the magic for people. Um, but I will say a lot of people that work a lot of hours take a lot of things in consideration and try and do their best to make a wonderful experience for the guests and people that come. So
Yeah, for those that don't know, like the Imagineers are the people behind some of the rides at the parks.
and we'll say Disneyland or Disney theme parks, Disney cruise lines, Disney hotels, etc. Um, yeah. So
And what's your favorite part about the job?
um, the name, the title. Just kidding. But when I heard Imagineer, I'm like, I want that. Like, I want that title. That title's awesome. Uh, so many great things. So many um, now when I go to the parks, I go with a different thing in mind. I love going with all different friends and family members that and see because I know me and I know what I would like and what I would want more of. But then I go with my niece and see what she loves, or I go with my mom and see what she loves. And I'm like, it's so great to see it from other points of view, um, and to share that with them. The job itself is challenging, but also really good and rewarding. And I'm shocked at how great of a job they've done to hire people you really enjoy working with. Like the team I worked with at first, I was like, man, they're amazing. How can like everybody be so great? And then I worked on another team and they were amazing too. I'm shocked at the percentage of like quality people they get. And this is the job that I've had that is the most out of any job I've ever had before that treats you like a mature adult. They're like, this is what you have to do. This is the deadline. All right, go. Let us know if you need any help. They don't like micromanage, overwatch you, anything. It's just like they trust you to be good at your job and do your absolute best. So it's I hope to stay there till I retire. Like Derek knows, I always have these other projects and things I'm working on, and I expect myself to still do those things, but on the side and stuff. Yeah.
Nice. So that was my next question was for you was going to be, yeah, let's talk about some of those other projects that you're doing because you always have something really cool going on or something in the past that you've done that's now surfacing. Tell us what's happening.
Um, all right. Like throughout my life, like made different short films or came up with different characters, came up with different stories. Um, so one that just recently got announced, we actually finished it, I don't know, 2018. So what's that, 7 years ago? And we were sitting on it, like not releasing it out to the public. It went to some film festivals and won some awards, but we weren't releasing it to the public because we were trying to get this short film music video made, and it's titled Spark, inspired by music from Nikhil Karula. He approached me to make it, but we were holding on to it because we wanted to get it made into a feature film. And at one point, we had half the funding. There was a group of people that were willing to give us $15 million to make this, which is shocking and amazing. And then COVID hit, everything changed, world changed, things didn't happen. Um, but so that's the latest that I was working on that came out and can talk about. And I know with your community, you talk a lot about overcoming struggles and different things throughout life. And that project itself had some challenges and things to overcome, which we had no idea how or what we were going to do about it. Um, so yeah, if you guys want to watch it, Spark on YouTube, look up Spark official animated music video by Nikhil Karula, Nikhil
What I'll,
Karula.
what I'll have you do, Jacob, is I'll have you in the comments of this when we're done, and you can post the links in the
Okay,
comments.
thank you.
And
I'll do.
that way we could share it with everybody and they can see your awesome video. And yeah, but you mentioned some struggles. Can you maybe talk about some of the struggles either with that project or with in your career? Because you've had a pretty long career in film and television, and other people might are most likely are curious about that. So what was like something that really was a big struggle for you that you overcame?
Should we start with that project or end with it, or start with the career? um,
Whatever leads you, whatever you feel works.
I guess we'll start with that project since we were talking about Spark, the short film. One, super grateful to be approached about it. We had a mutual friend. I had been to this guy's concert before. Uh, he reached out on Facebook and said, and this is a strange thing. And when I talk about the career, it'll be about some of this as well, like the connections and the no way you can plan for certain things to happen. And then it comes down to different choices and things. But uh, he put out, hey, I want to do an animated music video. His dad suggested that for him. And like, anyone knows animators. He got a bunch of replies, a lot of them really, really good. And my friend said, hey, this Jacob does animation. Here's his reel. So he reached out to a few of us. He said, hey, you guys, what's your ideas? He said they're all good ideas, but then we had one about a firefly. This is the background from it. A firefly that can't light up. And he's just like, oh, that's perfect. And he was amazing to work with. Like, again, because he's a creative and he understands and wants to allow other people to be creative. Like, pitch ideas, I love it. We pitch the characters, I love it. Maybe combine this and that. And just so great to work with. So patient, especially we know animation takes a long time, which other people don't know that and didn't know what to expect. But, and here's one of the challenges. I'll say a challenge for my business partner at the time. We did Workaholic Studios, and he's more business minded than I, where I just want to be creative. So, like, we were basically doing it at the budget where I'm like, I'm getting paid to make my own short film. So it's like breaking even. It's not making any money, but you can't run a business that way. So, that's a struggle for him to overcome working with me and making no money on a project. But so we're creating it. He's, modeling some of the characters. We realize we're going to have to hire another team to be able to actually make this. And it was for a very small amount. And there's a team in India we had worked with before on certain projects. And so we're working with them to create this, and we're developing it and getting along and showing the stuff to the producer. And it's going along well. It's taking time, but it's going along well. And then one minute, our connection, Rakesh from this Indian team, radio silence. Heard absolutely nothing from him. And again, they had the files, they had the project. So we almost couldn't really pick up and continue or go somewhere else and bring them there. Didn't know what happened, tried to reach out, nothing. And then someone reached out to us, and it really sucks. And it's really sad that he died. Yeah, he died suddenly. Um, and so, so that's the worst part of the story, of course. However, he had a family, hard worker, super nice guy, supporting the whole team. Um, and so now we're here, and of course that's the worst part of it, and there's no way, I don't know, really to overcome that. But as far as the project goes, um the person who called and said, like, hey, this happened, if you want us to continue working on it, like, let us know, didn't leave a way to contact them. uh I tried to call the phone company, I tried to do like type 5 the number to come back, I had no way to reach this person. And because we're like, yeah, we want you to continue. No way to reach the person. Half the money had already been spent. Um, we don't have the files. I tell the guy, I'm like, hey, it may take forever, but I'll do it. I'll get it done and work on it on our own. Um, Crazy thing happens. That producer guy is sitting at a car wash in LA. Maybe this can't happen anywhere, but in LA, it can happen. Um, and the guy he's sitting next to is someone I've worked with before at various VFX companies. Uh, but he told him about the music video, and the guy's like, hey, I know a company. And so connected us with another company. And so they said, yeah, we'll take it on, for, again, low price, that hopefully if something happens on the feature, they might get something from that. Um, and then we were able to pick it up and continue with that other company. But for a while, we had no clue what we were going to do at that point. And um, but yeah, by him talking about his project and what happened with it and what's going on, we were able to continue and eventually finish it. So yeah.
That's amazing. I don't think I knew that, or I don't remember that.
Yeah.
That's really, really crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
Things you would never expect. You'd never plan.
Yeah,
You don't plan for. You don't. Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunate. Yeah.
cool.
And so at the end of the music video, even though their work of that isn't within this music video, we still did like a special thanks to him and the team and stuff. So yeah, it's not much, but yeah, what can you do?
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really appreciate you sharing that story. I'm sure a lot of people, in the group appreciate, we all have different struggles, whether it's, personal or with work or whatever it is. And, that's a tough one. It's, grief is hard. And I mean, you didn't really know the guy that well, but you still had a working relationship with
Yeah.
that person, and you lost a lot of time and money because of it too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh, sorry.
wow. Well, is there anything that you'd like to talk about that we didn't get to talk about today?
Are we up with time?
I mean, we have as much
Well,
time as you
I mean,
need. I just
no. I mean, that was that project and Spark but if you wanted to know more about the career, like one thing, there's lots of times where I know we come with decisions and we choose one way, or go, oh, if only this, or I wish that. Um, for example, there's so many, like when I was getting into animation, uh, there was people, like articles saying like the people working at Pixar at the time, just for knowing anything about like computer animation, were getting like $70,000 signing bonuses. And I'm like, no, I'm just not quite a generation, but a few years too young, a few years too late, because that would have been awesome. And uh, then like I have my own set of, you can see a high school article about me like wanting to do computer animation. It says how I have my own set of bugs characters called critters, and then Pixar's making the movie Bugs Life. I'm like, no, I'm just like, they're gonna feel like I copied those characters. Already my style matches kind of their style anyways, but also I'm like, I'm also too late and too young and not quite there. And then I go to art college for animation, and there we have, it's in San Francisco, so it's right across the bay from Pixar. and we have Pixar animation instructors. Um, and so, of course, I want to do amazing in those classes. But once I got to those classes, I was fortunate, but I'm already working at a game studio, working like 60 hours a week, married, didn't have kids at the time, but like commuting. So teaching at that time as well there to get a different class for free. So you debate like, man, if I put all my time into the Pixar classes, it's like, would I have gotten into Pixar quicker? And like, so is that a choice I should have made? Because I didn't really want to do games. I know other people, that's their dream job. And when they get there, they're super happy, or they could work on movies and go, I don't want to do this. I want to do games. So people have different likes. But I'm like, should I have focused fully on that? And I could have got there quicker. Um, but again, all these other twists and turns, and I can mention so, and I'm happy where I ended up. I still feel super fortunate. But you do go, you don't know where things are going to go later, and or how that would have turned out. There's another example. The game company I told you I was working at, um, Sony, it's a big company, 401k, health insurance. I had a wife at that time. I had uh, a kid, and she was pregnant. And we finished the game, the first one, and we are about to go on to the sequel of the game. And I hear about like Jimmy Neutron, a TV show I liked, a movie I liked. It was 3D animation, one of the first out there. And it was already done. They're not making any more. And then I heard they're making these Jimmy Timmy specials. And I'm like, oh, I might get a chance to work on Jimmy Neutron. And uh, but it's 40% the pay. It's a 10-week contract. It's in another state. So, like, this is something I would never, ever, ever recommend anyone doing. Having a wife, a kid, and she's pregnant, like leaving this stable full-time job to go to do this 10-week contract with no insurance, no guarantees, less the pay. I still respect her for being able to go along with it. She was on board. But I went for that instead. I took this contract to do the acting stuff that I want to do instead of character animation. They were already talking about having me take a higher promotion on the next game as well. But I knew I wanted to take the other thing. So we took that risk. And again, when you take a risk, that means, it might not work out, but took that risk. And so I'm on this contract job, and there's this other stable job. And they decided to cancel the project. So this job that looked more stable, this big company, this thing that had happened, every single person that was working on it got laid off. Did I know that was going to happen? Did I make a smart decision? No, no clue. It seems like a very stupid decision. It happened to work out. And again, all those friends, as far as I know, they all bounced back and got jobs and working places, and everyone's okay. But it's again about those choices that you take, and you don't know how the other route is going to go. So even if I did work harder for the Pixar one, I might not have got that job. There's no guarantee of that. It might have worked out worse than the other direction. You can never know both directions that you go, because we only can live one life. And then other things happened from that job as well, like where my wife was having some complications with the pregnancy, and because of our insurance, like, well, that job ended, and then I did get to work on a feature film there at that same company. And that company and both those jobs, amazing. Like one of the best experiences I've had our whole career. Like it was a big company, but it felt small, wonderful. But our insurance didn't work there, so had to give that up and leave. And I know you worked on Barnyard, right? The movie. I made a decision between like I had the opportunity to go there, Barnyard in California, or work on this Ant Bully movie there in Texas. And just myself and the character designs, I picked Ant Bully. But had I known what was about to happen, where I'm going to be forced to come back to California anyways, I would have totally took Barnyard, because then I'm in the California and I'm working on the movies. But we don't know. You don't know those decisions. And so, but I worked in Sony Cinematics San Diego, and it worked out okay too. Had my son in San Diego. That led to another company that does cinematics and games that helped me get that helped me get all the other jobs. So twists and turns of life. I'll give one more. Do you want to say something in between, Derek? Because I've been talking. Okay. Derek and I started a company together, Ray to Real, way back in the day. We spent the nights after our jobs working on this regularly for like 4 years. We put $40,000 into this over that 4 year span between the two of us combined. And then we go to this conference for the CG industry called SIGGRAPH, and we have a booth there. And while we're there, uh, different companies have their own booths doing stuff, and Disney has booths, and you can go have an interview with them. So I go and I get this ticket, this golden ticket. It wasn't golden, but love Charlie and Chocolate Factory, to have this interview with Disney Animation Studios, for talk with the animators. And so I get that card, the little ticket. I'm all excited for it. The time comes and I go there. I can't find my ticket. And I'm like, and I talked to the person at the front and I said, hey, I had this ticket, I had this schedule. Again, someone could say anything. I'm like, I can't find the ticket. And they're like, we're sorry, the animation line in the backup is way too long. And I'm like, do you have anybody else? And they're like, well, story department. And if Derek maybe knows me, the others here don't know, like, through this journey, I came to learn that I wanted to do more than just animation. And at that time, I had my own pitch Bible of different things I wrote. I have other screenplays that I wrote. So the story guy was available. I was like shocked by it. I'm like, that is so much better. That is so much better for me. So he's just sitting there all alone. It looked kind of sad with all this other stuff. But I go there, I talk to him, and I show him what I have. And here's another thing in life. Sometimes we put ourselves down or we hold ourselves down to this stuff. But we're talking, and I'm showing him my pitch Bible, what I have so far and what I've done. And he's like, okay, what you're going to do is redraw this stuff, but do it true to real life materials for the trains when they move. Don't have like squash and stretch, have it move. And they do that. And I'm like, my drawing's not good enough. I said, shut up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so like for me, I'm like, there's no way I'm a good enough artist to do story for this stuff. But apparently my stuff was okay or good enough for that. And he saw something in me. And so he pushed me to that. So he gave me his email, gave me his stuff on his card. And I don't know if it's insecurity. I don't know if I was too busy with life. Foolishly, I didn't do what he asked me to do, and I never sent it in. And then again, you have those kind of regrets. You're like, could I have gotten Disney earlier? Could I have been a director earlier and story earlier on these feature films and stuff if I had just did that opportunity and took it like I did? And I didn't. I didn't do that. But again, I'm still super happy and grateful for where I ended up. So even though all these different turns I could have taken that I didn't do these different things, it still worked out and stuff. Yeah.
It's still amazing. I have a friend and she always says, you know how you know you're in the right place?
How?
And she says, because that's where you are. So, you know, we don't know, we can't predict the future, but we make choices and we just have to trust that we're making the right choices. And usually we end up where we're supposed to end up.
And be forgiving with yourself, because
Yeah,
most of the times, like, you made the best choice you could with the information you had at the time. Like, there is still
absolutely.
stuff I beat myself up about and go like, oh, I'd go back and try and do this differently or this different. Now that I know what I did, like right now, I still feel like I still know at the time I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought I was making the best choice, but now I would want to go back and make a different choice if I had the opportunity, which we don't have. And you never know how that would turn out either. But yeah, so if you are feeling that way, you're not alone. We
Yeah,
all feel that way. So
yeah. Wow, that was great. Thank you so much for sharing, Jacob. This was really a
okay.
pleasure. I could sit here and talk to you for hours, I know, and I really love hearing your stories. Before we go, is there anything you want to leave anybody with or any final words?
Uh, Unfortunately, not that I can think of.
That's okay. No, I'm so glad you did this. Thank you again for doing
My
this.
pleasure.
And Jacob, after this interview, Jacob's going to put some links in the post so you can see his Spark video, music video, and anything else that he wants to share. And if you have any questions for him, definitely put them in the comments as well. He can answer the questions for you. And if he doesn't see them, I'll make sure he gets them and he'll answer any questions, or if you have any feedback for this interview, or if you were inspired to share your story and you want to be interviewed, put interview in the comments here, and I'll contact you and we'll set up a time where you can be spotlighted and we can share and find out more about you. So um, thank you, Jacob, and we'll talk to everybody later.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for all that you do, Derek.